When you finally get rich, the smartest move you will ever make is saying absolutely nothing. Sounds extreme, right? Almost like something a paranoid uncle would mumble at Thanksgiving. But here is the twist that will punch you right in the mind. Some of the wealthiest people you walk past every single day look completely ordinary. They drive old Honda Civics, they shop at Target, they blend in so perfectly that you would never guess they have more money than most people will ever touch in their entire lives. My name is Nick, and I spend an unhealthy amount of time studying why people destroy themselves the moment they start building real wealth. If you're someone who wants actual financial freedom instead of pretending to be rich with shiny toys, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if it flips your view of wealth upside down. Before we go deeper into why silence might be your greatest financial strategy, let me ask you something. When you picture becoming rich, what is the first image that appears in your mind? Maybe you imagine posting your new Lamborghini on Instagram. Maybe it is the giant mansion with rooms you will never use. Or maybe you dream of walking into a designer store and buying anything you want without ever checking the price. But here's the part about human psychology that almost nobody admits. Most people do not actually want to be rich. They want to look rich. These are two completely different paths, and confusing them is the reason so many people end up broke with designer closets and empty bank accounts. Be brutally honest with yourself. Why do you really want money? Sure, you might say financial freedom or taking care of your parents. But if you dig deeper like a stoic, dissecting his own impulses, you will find something uncomfortable. A part of you wants people to know you made it. You want respect, admiration, maybe even envy from those still stuck in jobs they hate. This desire for recognition is natural, but it is dangerous. Because the moment you start showing off your wealth, you mark yourself with a target you cannot erase. And I'm not only talking about criminals. I'm talking about something far more subtle, something psychological, something that slowly eats your peace of mind. When people know you have money, every relationship shifts. Every interaction becomes tinted with possibility. That new friend who always wants to hang out. Do they genuinely like you? Or are they waiting for you to pick up the bill? That distant relative suddenly calling you out of nowhere. Are they reconnecting? Or did someone mention your rising bank account? This is not cynicism. This is reality. Money changes how people see you. And worse, it changes how they behave around you. Some of the loneliest people on earth are the wealthy who can never be sure if anyone truly likes them or just likes their resources. Here is something nobody expects. Many high earners purposely drive modest cars. People making multiple six figures quietly cruising around in Toyota Camrys and Honda Accords. Why? Because they understand something essential. Your car does not need to broadcast your financial status. When you live modestly and keep your wealth invisible, you gain something priceless. You get to build relationships with people who know nothing about your financial power. They treat you based on who you are, not on what you can give. And that is the quiet, almost hidden advantage of stealth wealth. Not just safety, not just privacy, but the rare freedom to live without the performance, without the pressure, and without the constant fear of being used. Actual circumstance. Without the strange power dynamics that money frequently produces, you may engage with people on an equal basis. Consider your present social circle. If they found out that you were 10 times wealthier than they were, how would those relationships change? When you go out to dine, will they still split the cost equally? Would they continue to gripe to you about their financial difficulties? Would they continue to handle you in the same manner? Or would there be a tension beneath the surface that didn't exist before? This explains why a large number of wealthy people choose to spend their time exclusively with other wealthy people. Although it may appear to be snobbery from the outside, it is not. It is self-protection. Your relationships are less impacted by money when everyone in your social circle has comparable financial means. This is where things start to become very interesting, though. Once you start flaunting your wealth, the need to keep up appearances starts a vicious cycle that might eventually drive you into poverty. To demonstrate your accomplishment, let's assume you purchase a pricey car. You are now under pressure to maintain that image. You must wear clothing that complements the vehicle. Someone who drives such a car needs a home fit for them. You must take vacations and dine at restaurants that complement the way of life you have established. You'll find yourself imprisoned in what I refer to as the appearance prison before you know it. You're investing more money and exerting more effort simply to uphold the reputation you built for the benefit of others. Since they aren't squandering money on status symbols, the truly wealthy are quietly accumulating greater wealth. This idea is aptly expressed in an old proverb on wealth. 3 tiers of wealth exist. You cut your own grass when you're impoverished. You hire someone else to mow your lawn when you're middle class. However, you trim your own grass once more when you're actually rich. Why? Because you've come to understand that freedom entails doing what you want to do rather than what you believe wealthy people should do. The individual mowing their own lawn once more has realized that material belongings do not provide enduring joy. Relationships and experiences both do. The flexibility to allocate your time as you see fit. However, having a garage full of pricey vehicles that need upkeep, insurance, and ongoing concern over dents and theft is not independence. That is simply costly tension. This leads us to one of the most illogical parts of creating genuine riches. The things that are most important in life are either free or really inexpensive. Spending time with loved ones, getting a good night's sleep, taking a stroll in the outdoors, reading a book that alters your viewpoint, or having a discussion that causes you to reconsider a significant issue are all examples. Being affluent is not a prerequisite for any of these things, but it can facilitate access to them. You can decide to work less hours and devote more time to relationships when you're financially stable. Traveling allows you to encounter various cultures. You don't have to worry about whether your interests and pastimes will cover your expenses. This is the crucial realization that most people overlook, though. All of these activities are possible without anybody else being aware of your financial situation. In actuality, you can frequently perform things more effectively while others are unaware of your financial circumstances. Think about this situation. That man who used to put you in lockers shows up at a high school reunion and boasts about his new Tesla and his office in the corner with a view. You know that you could purchase his entire subdivision without looking at your bank account as you're standing there in jeans that are 5 years old. Isn't there something almost absurdly fulfilling about that particular moment? This is stealth wealth's secret superpower. With insider knowledge that no one else possesses, you are able to navigate the world. You resemble a superhero in finance dressed in everyday clothing. Because they are unaware that you have left the matrix in which they are still imprisoned, people treat you regularly. Allow me to provide you with a fantastic illustration of how this occurs in the actual world. I know a man who became quite wealthy through real estate. He takes his beaten-up pickup vehicle to construction sites every morning after putting on his work boots. His employees are unaware that he is the only owner of the development company. He is treated like one of the boys, has lunch with them, and engages in banter. Imagine, for example, that when a contractor arrives in a brand-new luxury truck, everyone asks for raises or assumes he is overcharging for his services. Which individual, in your opinion, leads a less stressful life and has better relationships? From a psychological perspective, here's where things start to get really fascinating. You can see people for who they really are when you're not flaunting your wealth. You learn who is truly giving when they perceive you to be having financial difficulties. You come to know people who lend a hand without asking for anything in return. You can tell whether pals ask you out because they like your company rather than because they think you'll pay for it. This key, ND of insight, is invaluable. It resembles having X-ray vision into the nature of people. You begin to make wiser choices on who you may trust, with whom to do business, and who is worthy of becoming a member of your inner circle. The individual flaunting their wealth, meanwhile, is always unsure if others like them or just their wealth. Let's discuss the useful advantages of concealing your wealth, nevertheless. Manner. You receive sincere service and honest quotations from service providers who perceive you as a typical middle-class client. Everything instantly becomes more costly the moment they smell money. Your mechanic begins recommending high-end services. Your contractor discovers a ton of extra work that needs huge be done. Your financial advisor recommends expensive goods that are more advantageous to them than to you. The goal of an entire business is to keep rich people away from their money. And figuring out who has money to start with is the first step in that process. You can avoid being a target for these intricate wealth extraction operations by staying under the radar. Let's now talk about the obvious problem. Well, if you can't appreciate your money, what good is it? This is arguably the most frequent criticism of the stealth wealth strategy because it exposes a basic misconception about the true purpose of money. Having money isn't designed to make you seem good. The purpose of money is to purchase options. It's intended to grant you autonomy. It is intended to lessen stress and improve your capacity to live life as you see fit. Nobody else needs to be aware of your financial circumstances in order to take use of these advantages. When was the last time you felt truly joyful? I refer to those instances in which you were utterly content and forgot about anything else. Was it something you owned that cost a lot of money? Or was it while doing something you're passionate about, having a conversation with someone you care about, or spending time in nature? Experiences and connections, rather than material belongings, provide us with the majority of our greatest fulfillment. This is where the lovely paradox lies. Your connections and experiences tend to be more genuine and richer when others are unaware of your wealth. Consider travel as an example. You get to enjoy your costly vacation when you're not trying to post about it on social media. You can stay in basic lodging and rediscover undiscovered local treasures that visitors to upscale resorts never notice. You can engage in sincere discussions with locals who aren't attempting to defraud you. Instead of producing material to demonstrate that you can afford such vacations, you may concentrate on the adventure itself. Eliminating the performance component of wealth has a liberating effect. You begin living for your own fulfillment and cease living for the approval of others. You come to see that the greatest things in life aren't really things. This change in viewpoint also improves your ability to invest and accumulate riches. You have more money to invest in things that genuinely increase your wealth when you're not wasting it on status symbols. You are purchasing appreciating investments, while others are financing fancy autos that are losing value. You're increasing your profits while they're paying top dollar to keep up their image. The arithmetic is straightforward but effective. You could use every dollar you save for decades instead of spending it on ostentation. This eventually adds up to a significant disparity in net worth between the ostentatious and the covert wealth creators. This is an additional viewpoint that most people don't think about. You keep your advantage in professional and business settings when you keep your riches concealed. Because they believe you have large sums of money, no one is attempting to price you out of agreements. No one is denying you opportunities because they believe you are not in need of them. You are able to compete based on your qualifications rather than how people perceive your financial situation. I've witnessed successful business owners who continue to negotiate every contract as if they were counting every dime, and their companies prosper as a result. In the meantime, business owners who flaunt their achievements discover that partners, suppliers, and staff all begin to demand first-rate treatment and prices. The people closest to you are among the most dangerous money destroyers, but the stealth wealth method shields you from them as well. When your family members are aware of your wealth, they will look for excuses to share it. When it comes time to cover their portion of the collective expenses, friends will experience selective forgetfulness. Your coworkers will count on you to contribute to charity campaigns and office celebrations. These folks are not evil because of any of this. Human nature is what it is. People unconsciously change their expectations when they realize you have more than they do. Fairness is suddenly redefined in ways that always seem to work in their favor and against you. Breaking off contact with everyone you know is not the answer. Controlling the flow of information about your financial status is the answer. Generosity is still possible when you decide to be, but it's your choice, not what other people think you should be. This strategy has even more value when you consider how draining it is to keep up an affluent facade. Consider famous people who lament the stress of having to look flawless every time they leave the house. Now consider willingly putting yourself under that same pressure simply to let people know you're wealthy. In essence, you would be committing to performance anxiety for the rest of your life. The irony is that those who are most awed by extravagant displays are typically those who are unable to purchase them. In contrast, those who are truly wealthy frequently see through the facade. They are able to distinguish between those who are spending money and those who have it. They might not even need to appear wealthy. This raises an intriguing argument regarding luxury that is financed by debt. How many of those Instagram pictures of lavish lifestyles are really paid for by loans and credit cards? More than you could imagine. Social media's popularity has given rise to this weird economy in which people take out loans to give strangers online the appearance of affluence. You fully opt out of this taxing game when you adopt stealth wealth. You realize that your car is merely a means of transportation, so you stop giving a damn about what it says about you. Since comfort and quality are more important than brand awareness, you stop thinking about whether your clothing has the appropriate logos. Something that might blow your head is right here. Some of the wealthiest people I know use coupons, shop at Costco, and drive their automobiles to the limit. They do it because they want to, not because they must. They now understand that every dollar saved on wasteful spending has the potential to compound and increase over many years. In psychology, this is actually referred to as hedonic adaptation. In essence, people adapt to changes in their lifestyles very fast. Your brand new luxury vehicle feels fantastic for the first week, but by the third month, it's just yours. The payment stays the same, but the enthusiasm wanes. The individual who invested the difference and purchased a dependable used car is creating wealth that will satisfy them for many years to come. Having a stealth wealth mindset also helps you make far better decisions since it removes the influence of ego and image worries. You can be honest with yourself while contemplating a significant purchase. Do I genuinely need this? Or am I merely showing it off to others? Will this actually make a difference in my life? Or am I merely attempting to meet some fictitious benchmark? These inquiries turn into your superpower in terms of money. You are making well-considered choices that are consistent with your true objectives and values, while others are making impulsive purchases they will later regret. Let's discuss something that nearly everyone who accumulates riches but doesn't promote it experiences. You gain what I refer to as financial self-assurance. It's the calm confidence that comes from knowing you could manage practically any financial crisis life may you. Your car breaks down without any issues. Unexpected medical expense, paid for. Do you want to go on an impromptu trip? Completed. The anxious energy that results from attempting to sustain an upscale lifestyle on precarious financial ground is entirely apart from this confidence. It's the distinction between appearing secure and truly being secure. The lovely thing about having confidence is that it has an impact on all facets of your life. You're not in a desperate situation, so you negotiate better. You have a safety net, so you take measured chances. Because you're not concerned about paying for items you purchase to impress people you probably don't even like, you get a better night's sleep. Let's now discuss an often raised issue. What if you wish to share your fortune with others? What if you wish to provide friends pleasant experiences or assist family members in making donations to causes that are important to you? The good news is that charity is unaffected by riches. Actually, it gives your contribution greater significance. There you have it, then. When you become wealthy, don't say anything and let everyone else engage in the tiresome game of financial theater. Create wealth in a stealthy manner. In private, enjoy your independence. Additionally, keep in mind that true prosperity is about what owns you rather than what you own. The kind of wealth that no one anticipates is the best kind.